I'd like to talk about finding aids. The concept seems self-explanatory. In the broadest definition, they're any type of descriptive tool used to facilitate the discovery of information within a collection of records. They can be a wide variety of formats: card indexes, calendars, guides, inventories, shelf and container lists, or registers are all considered finding aids. But whatever the format, they are the central means of access and description for archival materials. A narrower and more modern definition is that a finding aid is a description of records that gives the archive physical and intellectual control over the materials and that assists users in gaining access to and understanding the materials. In the case of that secondary definition, the finding aid is usually a single document that places the materials in context by consolidating information about the collection, such as the acquisition and processing, provenance, administrative history or biographical note, scope of the collection, size, subjects, media, organization and arrangement, and an inventory of the series and folders. Finding aids are usually individually created by each archive since their collections are unique. There's an international standard for encoding archival finding aids called Encoded Archival Description, or EAD. I don't want to get too technical in explaining this XML standard, but it's similar in concept to MARC records. They're machine-readable records created with the goal of standardizing the description of materials that can be widely varying in content and format. And with the standard, the finding aids become easy to search, maintain, and share. EAD is continually developed and maintained through a partnership between the Library of Congress and the Society of American Archivists. Usually, finding aids are browsable on the archive's website or the parent, the archive's parent website. So the researcher can have an idea about whether the collection will be useful to them before they even step foot into the physical building. This also allows the researcher the opportunity to call ahead and get materials pulled for their visit. If you're at all interested in browsing finding aids, just to see what they consist of, I'd recommend checking out the finding aids for the archival materials at the Library of Congress. Their website is findingaids.loc.gov. So those are great to recommend using when you're working at a particular archive or referring clients to a known organization. But how would a librarian or archivist help a client find a different archival organization? The Society of American Archivists have a helpful document on their website called Finding and Evaluating Archives. Some of the resources that they recommend are subscription databases like Archive Finder. It's published by ProQuest, and we have access to it as LSU students. And it's a current directory of thousands of repositories in the United States and the United Kingdom. WorldCat is another that we may be more familiar with. It includes cataloged records for archived materials stored in libraries around the world. You can limit a general WorldCat search to just bring back archival material results. There's also an option to limit it to a particular institution. A third recommended database is actually free. It's in its beta mode right now. It's called Archive Grid. It was created through a collaboration between OCLC and RLG, the Research Libraries Group. RLG actually publishes the best practices implementation guide for EAD. So the Archives Grid website has collected over 2 million archival material descriptions, including MARC records from WorldCat and finding aids from all over the web.